Hey, Dean Yeager.
Welcome.
Today's video, we are going to continue our discussion on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Thought it was DC.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We will. Promise you that. But we are in the middle of phase 2. We're about at the end of it, honestly. And then we're going to start phase 3. And where we left off is where we're going to start today. And that is Avengers Age of Ultron.
I love that one. That's a good one.
You know, I love it, but I'm going to have to admit, it's probably the one I've seen the least. I need to really, get back in and watch it again. I enjoyed it, and I think we talked about this in another video. When they were starting to kind of roll this out, we were supposed to get Thanos next, right? And then it broke. It's like, no, we're going to get Ultron first and then Thanos.
Draw it out some more.
Yeah, of course, got to make that money. But no, I enjoyed it, and again, Tony Stark, has the idea of basically Ultron.
Yeah,
taking helping them out, which it backfires, and there's just that inner struggle.
Look at artificial intelligence.
Yes,
which was originally the butler, right? Jarvis.
Yes. So yeah, Jarvis. Yeah,
and they thought that Jarvis had died because Ultron had come to life or whatever.
Yeah, they thought. Yeah, I was sad because the actor, I love the actor.
Yeah,
his voice is
Paul Bettany.
Yes, and his voice is great. And you're like, oh man, they took him out, but then he comes back as Vision, which I know very, very little about Vision. I think anything that I know is what you told me.
Yeah, and I don't know a whole lot about the character myself, other than, of course, in comics, he is romantically involved with Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
Which we got WandaVision now.
Right.
But no, I really enjoyed it. It was great. Probably out of the two, probably my second favorite. The first one just was epic to me up to that point.
My only grievance with Ultron might be that, as far as I understand the comics, and I was never a big follower of Avengers or even a lot of the characters individually in the comics, but I can say that I know that Ultron was, and I understand why they made him. Let me put it this way: I understand why they wanted to draw things out for Thanos. And certainly Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet is much more powerful an opponent than Ultron. But Ultron was pretty heavy duty, man.
I love the voice actor.
Oh, Spader. James
Spader, man. He was awesome. And then, of course, you get the great, Iron Man versus Hulk with the Hulk Buster. That was, like, to me, comic gold, especially when he's like punching and he's like, go to sleep, and that doesn't work, and then he punches at one point, knocks a tooth out, and Robert Downey Jr. goes, I'm sorry. So no, it was great, and of course they end up coming out on top.
Crossbones, was this the one that Crossbones was in?
I think that is Civil War, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's which we're gonna get to that soon.
That's right.
But no, and then we get a post-credit scene. Again, like you said, Scarlet Witch,
right,
and Quicksilver.
Of
course, kind of an FU to the X-Men series. He's like, I don't need Quicksilver, and they kind of kill him off pretty quickly.
Yeah,
that was a bit shocking, but hey,
And both of them are they're both the son and daughter of Magneto.
Yeah. So yeah.
Of course, we don't have Magneto.
Yeah, we can't use Magneto, but yeah. But anyway, and our post-credit scene in that one was, and I may have messed up in one of the other videos. At the end of Avengers 1, you just see Thanos sitting in the chair, and what's his name is talking to him.
He is underling or something.
Yeah, and this one is you see the Infinity Gauntlet, and Thanos puts it on, and he says, "Fine, I'll just do it myself."
Right.
And that's where we kind of leave Avengers, which I don't want to say segues, but what movie we get next, which I think was July, if I'm not mistaken, we get Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd. I was a little skeptical on this. I remember the only thing that excited me was Paul Rudd, because I am a Paul Rudd fan.
Yeah.
I, again, know very little about the character. This for me was when I was really starting to doubt their stuff. I'm like, well, why are we getting all the way down to Ant-Man? Do we really need Ant-Man?
Right.
But again, we're stretching this out and we're introducing more characters. And at the end of the day, I really loved it. And you got, supporting cast like Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. And I think you had told me they actually skipped the original Ant-Man and went to Paul Rudd's character.
Yeah, it's Stephen Lang. The original Ant-Man was, oh gosh, I'm forgetting my characters. Forgive me for that. But yeah, Michael Douglas's character was in the comics the original Ant-Man. Well, they skipped that. They went to Paul Rudd's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And then Evangeline Lilly shows up. Well, eventually she becomes the Wasp. Later down the road, even in the cinematic universe, and they fight Yellow Jacket.
Yes.
But the weird thing is, Yellow Jacket in the comics was just a variation of Ant-Man, from what I understand.
Huh.
Yeah, but you needed a villain, obviously,
yeah.
and then of course the big thing in this, which is a major setup for later on, is the quantum realm.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And they're gonna, and of course that's gonna be heavy duty now, going into phase
3.
Phase 3, and then of course phase 4, which we're on the verge of, hopefully.
But no, and from what I remember too, and a lot of hats off to Paul Rudd for this. He actually kind of tweaked the script a little bit. When he said he got it, it was a very seriously toned film. He's like, "Come on, guys, I'm running around talking to ants.
Yeah,
we need to put a little humor in this."
Yeah,
and I thought it was great. I thought it was a great balance. I was very impressed by it.
There was a lot of controversy. Original director, I forgot his name now, but it was his vision for, I think, 8 years he was trying to get this film made. Well, Marvel said, well, now with our universe we've got, it doesn't really fit cohesively into it. We're going to go with something. And there was a big division, I remember, about this film.
But, I mean, but
it came out great.
They came out, and it came out great. And we're still rolling. I mean, here we are from, what was the first one? Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
To now, I mean, we're still rolling. Nothing's been a dud. Nothing has slowed its momentum down. We're still rolling. And the post-credit scene in Ant-Man, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it setting up, what was it again?
Oh, the Civil War.
Okay, yeah. The end of Ant-Man, you see that they've got Winter Soldier, kind of captured.
Yeah, his arm
is caught.
Yeah.
And they basically said, it sets up everything for Winter Soldier, talking about the Accords.
Yeah.
We're on our own. Well, then Falcon says, I know a guy, which they're talking about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So, but that segues us right into Civil War. And I remember this being a big hot topic, especially between us. Is, again, I didn't know much about this storyline, but you said basically the end of the Civil War storyline is the Steve Rogers Captain America gets assassinated.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of controversy of where did Chris Evans sign a new contract? Were they going to kill off the Steve Rogers character and pass it on to the next Captain America that they did in the comic books? Which, of course, we know they ultimately didn't. But Civil War, to me, was like a very close Avengers movie.
I think so. I think it was Avengers like 2.5.
Oh, my goodness, man. More like 2.9.
Yeah.
If you're talking like out of 3. But, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Again, you bring Robert Downey Jr. in, it's going to be big.
My reservation wasn't so much even the death of Captain America as it was knowing the little I did, and even by that point in the comics I had long since stopped collecting or reading, but peripherally I knew about the crossover event, which was huge, and it included nearly every major comic character, hero and villain alike, and in the storyline. I thought, well, wait a minute, we've got a little over a dozen characters. And this can be a little bit small in scope, and I was very, very impressed by what they were able to pull off and how they did it.
And then, of course, we got to acknowledge that at the time leading up to this, they did not have the rights to Spider-Man. It was Sony, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So Spider-Man wasn't going to be a part of this. Well, all of a sudden, at the stroke of midnight, a deal is struck, and Spider-Man all of a sudden is in Civil War.
Right.
And which this causes a ripple effect, which we'll have to get into, I think, later, because we'll have to discuss it in the next video. But at the end of this, that sets up Black Panther. They're at Wakanda, and they're repairing Black Panther, and Black Panther's talking to Captain America.
Right.
You see the Black Panther image or whatever,
right?
And you're like, we're going to get Black Panther soon. Well, now that Spider-Man's in the universe, we got to come out with a Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
Which we will have to discuss down the road, but that's what we were set up for at the end of Civil War.
And the inclusion of him, that was terrific. I got to admit, I loved Spider-Man in it, but I will say that Boseman as Black Panther, when he shows up in Civil War, man, when he shows up,
rest in peace. You know, we've lost him way too soon.
Yeah, that was very shocking and very shocking. I heard about that.
Before we move on, too, one of my favorite scenes too is there at the end. You know, it seems like they're coming together, Cap and Iron Man. Well, this whole thing was set up to tear them apart. And Winter Soldier, and I don't know if this is true in the comic books or not, but he killed Tony Stark's parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tony Stark's going to be upset.
Yeah.
He wants his revenge. Cap is trying to stop him from killing him. And that whole fight scene at the end, and Cap ends up coming out on top. And Downey Jr., Tony Stark says, you know, that shield isn't yours. And he just drops it and he leaves. That was just, you know, that was kind of tearful too, where he's like, you know, Tony, he's my friend, and he's like, well, so was I. And but
that's one I need to revisit.
Yes, it's been a little while. I've seen it a few times. I think the last time I saw it was maybe about a year ago. But you know, and then before we get to the end credit scenes, you know, Tony Stark's at Avengers headquarters, and he gets that letter from Cap with the phone.
Right,
if you need me, call. Which almost sort of sets up Avengers down the road.
Yeah,
you know, even though we've got quite a few films to get to before we get to Endgame, but or Infinity War. I'm sorry, but anyway, so we're done with Civil War. We segue, and that leads us to Doctor Strange.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Which, again, I don't know much about the character at all. The thing that excited me was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
I think he's a very phenomenal actor, and that's what intrigued me about it. It is definitely different. It's, you know, deals with sort of kind of witchcraft almost. We get another Infinity Stone in this, too. We get the Time Stone.
You get the Time Stone. It's unlike any other film they've done up until that point. They tackled a different aspect of the Marvel Universe. You know, they had tackled, of course, by now, they had tackled the street level, the regular superheroes, the quantum realm, Thor, the godlike, you know, the cosmic side of things, even with Guardians of the Galaxy. Now we get into the sorcery aspect of it, spiritual and I tell you, just the special effects they laid out for
visually was just amazing.
Yes, I loved it.
And like I said, again, I know there are grievances with every character that was casted. Like we've got comments about Chris Evans, and maybe there's grievances about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I think he did a phenomenal job starting out a very egotistical doctor who does, in a sense, care about saving people, but all about also protecting his image. Yes. Well, you know, throw that all to the side once, you know, he goes down there to study, you know, the sorcery.
Right.
And I think he does great. So, I mean, like I said, we're rolling here. And this is, I think the official start of Phase 3 was Civil War. So we are 2 movies into to Phase 3.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to stop it right here. And as we've done in the other 2 videos, what was your favorite out of those 4?
You know, I love Doctor Strange. I really do. I have to put that. I give that high marks. Ant-Man I like, but I think out of all of those, probably Civil War.
This is a hard one, and I don't want to say Ant-Man is a clinker by any stretch because it was great. But out of these 4 that we just discussed, it's probably the weakest one. Not saying that it's weak at all.
Right.
But you're talking about Age of Ultron, Civil War, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man. And I put all of those in high regard. Ant-Man is probably for the best. Since you went Civil War, I'll just go with probably the obvious. I'll have to go with Age of Ultron. Yeah. You know, and again, but we are, you know, here we are. We're continuing to roll.
You were talking about scenes that really impressed you, poignant scenes. I think for me, aside putting aside the controversy of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient Ones, which I know in the comics was portrayed obviously by an Asian character, and one could definitely argue that's the way they should have went with it.
Oh,
obviously. Yeah. But one of my favorite scenes in that was when she was talking to Doctor Strange about, and I think it was the last time he sees her, and about how peculiar it's going to be. These are my last few seconds. We're never going to have this. That was very cool. That's one of my favorite scenes of that film.
And we did jump the gun. We didn't. The end credit scene in Doctor Strange sets up Thor 3. Thor is at Doctor Strange base. I would just say his house. I'm not sure what you would call it, but he's like, "What are you doing here?" And Loki's bad guy, and he said, "We're looking for my father." And he's like, "Okay, let's go find him." So that kind of segues into Thor 3. Where do we go from Doctor Strange? What comes out after that?
Man, I don't remember. Was it Guardians 2?
Maybe. We'll have to research that.
Yeah.
But that'll be the start of our next video. We're still in phase 3. Probably only got a few left to this point.
Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham?
No. But Spider-Man, I think, is the second one. Yeah. Something comes out in March or April or May like they always do. And another one comes out in either July or November.
And then... Yeah.
So, but hey, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Let us know what your favorites is out of this one. Of course, what are your grievances? The purists out there, give us a little information. What was the comic book like?
Yeah.
But other than that, we'll see you in the next one.
It's a beautiful read.